There are some key lessons that I've learnt in 2022 from living in Italy, and I think it's always really nice at this time of year to do one of those videos that talks about the lessons that I've learnt this year, because if you plan to move to Italy, I think it's really important for you to understand just some of the things that can make your experience better, but also some of what you can look forward to experiencing once you arrive here. The first lesson that I have learned from 2022 in Italy is that connection is everything. In July of this year, I was absolutely blessed to have my book, Wake Up to Your Worth, featured in an exhibition in Palermo at Palazzo Branciforte, care of Appa Museum. And it was all on the back of this photograph that I posted to Instagram just before Christmas of last year. And it turned out that one of my followers was actually behind this creation, and they put me in contact with the museum who wanted to feature my book in the exhibition. So connection is absolutely everything here in Italy. And as a result, my work is now a permanent street art piece in the streets of Palermo itself, which blows my mind that this has been probably one of the biggest achievements that I've made this year. And it just goes to show that in Italy, it's not necessarily what you know, but who you know that matters. I've spoken about this in pretty much all of my videos that I've posted this year, and pretty much all of the videos since I started this channel, but it is so true. Please don't neglect the importance of connection when you live here, because honestly, you just never know who knows who and who can help you out in situations and give you opportunities that otherwise you may never ever experience. So I've definitely learned this lesson in a very beautiful way this year. The second lesson that I've learned from Italy this year is that change is key. This was the year that I made my first big move within Italy, changing cities from Salerno to Palermo. Previously, the whole time that I have lived in Italy, I have lived in Salerno. And although I've moved a couple of times within that city itself, this has been the first big intercity move, shall we say, within Italy. And honestly, I was worried that it would be really complicated. Change always feels a little bit uncomfortable. I don't think there's ever a moment in our life where change ever feels easy, but it has by far been one of the best decisions that I've ever made. It's taken me a little time to adjust, as I spoke about in my last video, which I'll link up here, but by far, this is the best decision that I've made. And I have completely changed so many aspects of my life on the back of it. I've changed jobs, changed homes, cities, obviously, my look. I've upgraded various aspects of my life, from the camera equipment that I use now to film my videos, to the fact that I actually have a YouTube studio now, which I never had before, to the fact that I am now rebranding my YouTube channel and working on a few projects behind the scenes. So there are so many aspects that have come on the back of that one move and that one big change in my life. And that's kind of the thing with change. It has a ripple effect. You make one change in one area of your life and it tends to start to include other aspects, and you start to make changes in different areas. And so many people resist change because it does feel uncomfortable and it does make you feel like, oh my goodness, am I doing the right thing? But I promise you, when you can navigate your way through those feelings of discomfort, change is always going to be a positive. You're always going to learn something. You're always going to become a better person, and you're going to have fresh new experiences. Like, I feel like life just becomes stagnant and stale when you do the same things every single day just because it feels safe and secure. You've got to break out of that comfort zone, and honestly, change is the way that you do it. Lesson number 3 that I learned this year in Italy was to hold on to you. This was the year that I returned back to my city of London after 2.5 years of being away. That extended time away was in part brought about because of the pandemic, but also because I had to wait to renew my passport remotely, which, for anybody who is watching this, living in Italy, who has to go through a similar process, I promise you it is nowhere near as scary as you think it's going to be. I was actually amazed how organised it was, considering I was literally sending my passport back by courier to the UK. So rest assured, it's a really easy process. But it was the first time that I went back to my city, and it felt so good to be back in my city, speaking my language, in familiar surroundings, just lapping up my culture. And it was the biggest thing that I learned this year, was that it's so important to hold on to your identity, even when you live in a different country, even when you're surrounded by different people, because your identity is what makes you, you. And I kind of went through an identity crisis here maybe a year and a bit ago. I changed my name to Chiara. I started to say, well, nobody can pronounce my name or spell my name properly, so I may as well call myself the Italian version of my name, which is Chiara. But then I was like, but that's not my name. I don't need to pretend to be Italian or try to lose myself to fit in. I'm Claire, and I'm proud to be from London, and I'm proud to be British, and I'm proud to be different as well. Like, there are so many aspects of my character that differ to those people around me and the people that I meet on a daily basis, but that's okay. Difference is what makes the world unique. It's the spice of life, and we would all be really dull people if we were clones of one another. Like, we need to be different, we need to have diversity. It's really important. And so for this, I'm really proud now to be this British girl living in Italy. I've totally embraced it, especially for this, my YouTube channel, and the things that I want to do in 2023 with this brand and concept. But yeah, I think this is the biggest thing. Hold on to your identity, be proud of who you are, and hold on to your character and your way of thinking. Coming from the UK, I definitely feel like I have a more open-minded attitude to life, and sometimes that can differ to the attitudes of people around me, but that's okay. As I mentioned before, difference is okay, but it's just important that you don't lose yourself to try to fit in with those around you. You've got to stay true to you always, and that essentially is what will make you feel good, and also will help you to continue to achieve the things you want to achieve, even if you are in different surroundings. Okay, lesson number 4 from 2022 in Italy has been that consistency wins the day. I have shown up pretty much every single week on this YouTube channel, either with a long form video, YouTube Shorts, a community tab post. This was the year that I got monetized on my YouTube channel after 1 year, and I'm so proud of the journey that I've been on, and I'm so proud of the community that I've built. And I honestly have so much love and respect for each and every one of you who take the time to comment on my videos, like my videos, recommend me to other people. I am so proud that I've been able to build this on the back of my experiences and on the back of working and maintaining a life as well, and trying to juggle everything. Consistency really is like the key to life. And I think if you can show up every single day or every single week, or however often you can, to what matters to you and is important to you, that is when you're going to see real growth and traction, and you're going to see the benefits and the gains of what it is that you're working towards. This has been the biggest lesson that I've learned from YouTube, that life is a marathon, not a sprint. Like, a lot of people join YouTube and they expect immediate overnight growth. They expect to be monetized within like a couple of months. They expect to have the silver play button when you reach 100,000 subscribers in maybe under a year. And whilst that can happen to some people, it's not normal. And it doesn't mean that if it takes you longer to reach to that point that you failed in some way. If you show up on a regular basis on YouTube, you are starting to build a community, and I now can see the benefits of my hard work. I look back and I see some of my earlier videos that I produced when I first started this channel are now in excess of 12,000 views, which blows my mind. My complete channel is nearly at 250,000 views. It's amazing that nearly 250,000 people have seen my work. And so this is what I want to tell you, like, in life, it doesn't have to be connected to YouTube. Whatever you choose to do in life, you've got to show up on a consistent basis to see the results of what you want to work towards. It's not enough just to do a bit of work one day and then leave it for a couple of weeks. You've got to be consistent. And it's kind of one of those phrases that is bandied about a lot, and you know, sometimes can just be like, oh my goodness, not this again, consistency. But it's true. Whatever aspect of life that you want to gain momentum in, whether it's moving to Italy, whether it's finding a new job, whether it's starting a YouTube channel, you've got to be consistent, because that's the only way that you're going to see results. 5th lesson from 2022 in Italy has been that time is all we have. This was a lesson that I really understood a couple of months ago, actually. In fact, I spoke about it in this video up here, because when I moved to Palermo, I went through a period of time living by myself whilst my boyfriend was working in the north of Italy, and I really came to understand how all I was doing was just working, like working. I wasn't having any quality time for myself. I didn't get to produce a lot of videos in that period, and I just kind of felt that my dreams had been like sidelined. and I didn't really have any time for myself, and I was very, very close to burnout. And luckily for me, I managed to turn it around, and although I still haven't really arrived at the point where I can say that I feel that I have a balance, I'm definitely in a more balanced place now than I was a couple of months ago. And I think, you know, when we understand that like money is important, but it isn't the key to life, I think we really start to see things in a different way. Like time essentially is so special that you can't even buy it. You cannot put a price tag on it. And so for this, why would you squander it doing things that don't make you feel good? Why would you squander it on useless activities that are not going to help you to grow or to achieve success in your life? Like, why would you squander special moments with family and friends at the expense of earning a few extra euros? Like, you know, there's just a lot that I've really come to understand with time that perhaps before in the past I didn't really. And I think, you know, you have to manage your time in a way that works for you, but also you have to remember that time really is all that we have. Money can come and go. Time is the only thing that is always consistent. And so, you know, you have to use it in the way that's best for you and understand just how precious it is, and don't wait for tomorrow to do something, or don't think, oh, it's okay, I've always got tomorrow, because really tomorrow isn't guaranteed for any of us. And I think that's the most important thing that I've learned this year. Lesson number 6 from 2022 in Italy, RESPECT, respect. Respect yourself enough to leave jobs that don't deserve you. Respect yourself enough to leave friendships that aren't working. Respect yourself enough to basically make changes in your life where things aren't making you happy. Like, just respect yourself. I have had many experiences to do with respect since I've been living here, both professionally and personally, and honestly, like, this was the year where I really respected myself a lot. I walked away from friendships that weren't really real. I walked away from jobs that didn't have any respect at all for my work or effort. And in doing so, I've moved myself into a place where I'm now finding that respect that I didn't have in those areas before. And this is what happens, like, when you respect yourself enough to leave the parts of your life that aren't working, you automatically invite into your life what it is that you actually do want. You automatically find the jobs that are better for you, or the people that are better for you, because you've had the hindsight and the ability to understand that what is in your life at the moment isn't working. And that's the only way, like, through change, it's the only way that you can bring about the respect that you deserve and that we all deserve. And I think sometimes you've really got to stand up for yourself as well. This is a big thing, especially if you're dealing with bureaucracy here in Italy. You've got to stand up for yourself. You've got to show yourself respect, because in effect, we teach people how to treat us. And if we are not respecting ourselves, then there is absolutely no way that we can command respect from people. And so, you know, to respect yourself means that you don't tolerate the bad behavior. You don't tolerate the disrespect from others. You do something about it. Like, you know, whether that means you leave your job or you leave the friendship, you find a way to show yourself that level of respect, because in hindsight, that is how you are going to ultimately gain that respect from other people in the future. And my most important lesson that I think I've learned this year in Italy has been the importance of being real. Be real. Real Italy, real problems, real beauty, real life. This is my channel, and I have a lot of people who come to my channel and are grateful for the fact that I show what real Italy is like. I don't just sit here and show you the picturesque parts, but I also show you the real aspects of Italy and talk about the real aspects of Italy, because I don't think people do this enough. And also, you know, people might consider me to be too assertive or too outspoken, but the reality is, like, to be real about a country is how you help people in general. If somebody wants to move to Italy and all they're presented with is the picturesque images and the romanticism of the country, when they come to live here and they start to see things in a very different way, it's normal that they're going to develop a negative attitude and opinion about Italy. So I think in order to combat that, you need to be real with people and open their eyes before they move here so that they have a realistic expectation of what this country can deliver. I think, where people get negative is that they come here and they don't really understand what life is going to be like. They've only seen a certain aspect of it. And so this is my channel. I intend to go into 2023 being even more real than ever about life here in Italy. And I think essentially this is what can help even more of you who are thinking of moving here to really understand the trials and tribulations that you can face, but also the real beauty and lessons that you can learn. I'm making this video because living here in Italy teaches me so much on a daily basis and helps me to become a better person. And that's why I'm so passionate to share my lessons with you once a year, to give you an idea of what living here can actually do for you and the growth that it can give you if you're open to that and if you are prepared for what the realities of life here can bring. Please don't come here thinking that life is a fairy tale. I've said it to you from the beginning. Understand it has its good and its bad parts, the same way that any city in any part of the world has. But also understand that it can give you immense growth and opportunities if you look at it in the right way. Everything in life is as you see it. And as I've mentioned before, Italy can be anything that you want it to be. So I guess you've just got to decide what you want it to be for you.
Hey, listen up, I've tried to tell you this 100 times. Not getting better by lying there pretending to cry. You on repeat, you can't see shit cause you have closed your eyes. You say you listen, but you're missing what it's all about. Rise.